Hi everyone, and welcome to the Knit California channel. My name is Leslie. I'm a knitter in Southern California, and today we are talking about my summer knitting plans. It is officially summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm filming this today. It is June 22nd, and I am officially in summer knitting mode. I feel like for me, the spring knitting season was kind of short. I wanted to keep knitting on my winter sweaters pretty far, I feel like, into the spring season. I did get 2 t-shirts complete, and I have one more that is still on my needles that I'm working through as quickly as possible, but I have definitely transitioned and I feel like I am officially in tank top mode, which is like the epitome of summer knitting for me. I know summer knitting means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Some people prefer to knit socks or smaller projects that are not, wool or going to be bothering you and making you warm while it's really, really hot outside. For me, I don't typically have that issue, especially where I live. It is very hot, but I'm usually inside with the air conditioning on, so I feel like I could potentially, theoretically, basically knit whatever I wanted during the summer. But the warm season where I live in Southern California lasts for a very long time. And as I take stock of things that I have knit in the past years during the summer, past tank tops, past t-shirts, I'm really trying to get more wear out of these garments. I made a whole video in January at the beginning of the year talking through how many times last year I wore all of my knits. And as we are transitioning into this warmer season, and I am still tracking all of the knits that I wear on a daily basis, I am starting to see myself not wear my knits as much. I think this is fairly normal, but the main thing that I am seeing is I do have knits that I have in the past considered spring and summer knits, and I'm really not gravitating towards them. Today I picked out, specifically for the podcast, to wear my Ingrid top by Galore Fibers. I did knit this in a cotton linen blend yarn from Terrapin Fiberworks, but even in putting this on, this is the first time I have worn this year. And it's not because I'm wearing this now and I'm not hot. This is a warm weather appropriate top. I think for me it's probably the color, maybe a little bit of the fit. It is a little bit tight kind of up in this top region. I did totally redo the math when I knit this top last year because I wanted to use this fingering weight yarn versus the yarn that is called for in the pattern, which is more of a heavy DK / worsted weight yarn. I think it calls for the Sandnes garn. Well, it actually calls for a Galore Fibers yarn. They do all of their patterns in their own yarn, but I think a common substitute is the Sandnes garn Line. Anyways, I redid the whole numbers, regraded the pattern for my size and for this fingering weight yarn. Anyways, I think that's part of the reason why I don't gravitate towards it as much. I do think it's cute. The other thing is it's got the eyelet rows in it, and I don't think it's work appropriate because there's holes all over it, but it's fun for going out. It's fine for wearing on the podcast. And yeah, same kind of deal, similar kind of deal with a lot of the other garments that I have in my summer wardrobe. So this year, as I am now in tank top knitting mode, I'm thinking about, I am consciously attempting to choose patterns that I will want to wear more often. So patterns that are definitely my style of the type of tank tops that I like to wear, whether it's around the house or, out to dinner or whatever. and in yarns that I will be comfortable wearing, whether it is, you know, a merino wool, a superwash merino wool, or a cotton linen blend, or a merino silk blend, something like that. So what I have pulled together to talk through today is some of the project plans that I have in mind. I've got a few tank tops on my list that I definitely know I want to get to this summer, and a couple more tank tops on the list that I'm really liking right now and would like to get to, but I don't know if I will have enough time to knit up everything that I have going on in my brain. I think that's how it always is and is for a lot of us. I also have multiple yarn choices for some of these projects because I just haven't made a decision yet. So I'll show you kind of what's going on there. And then in general, I have put together like a summer knitting bucket list that I wanted to talk about with you. I did post this on Instagram last week and it was really fun, so I wanted to share that in the YouTube on my channel space here as well. So let's get into it and let's start talking through some of these project ideas. The first one I actually want to talk to you about is the one tank top that I currently have in progress. So this is a whip. It's going pretty well. It's actually my own tank top design. So it's going well, but also it has the potential to not turn out how I want it to at all. We'll just have to wait and see. But here it is. Wow, it has grown a lot. I did show this on last week's podcast. You will have already seen this if you watched the podcast. But yes, here it is. It is modeled after the Old Navy tank tops that I love to wear. Kind of like high neck, high back, almost racerback style tank tops. And yeah, here it is. The yarn that I am using for this is from Dusty Yarn Co. And the base is actually the Luxe Silk Cashmerino. So it's a 70% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 20% silk. It's a 3-ply yarn and it's 437 yards per 100 grams. This yarn is from their Palm Springs collection, this color I should say, and it's called Top Shelf. So it's a really nice like agave, margarita, fun colorway. This collection is still available on the Dusty Yarn Co. website and on their Etsy. These two skeins that I have used were gifted to me to help promote this collection, so I have an affiliate link in my description box down below if you are interested in checking this out through the beginning of July. This collection is going to be available. So yeah, this is the first tank top that I've got on my list. I know, not a pattern that anyone can knit right now, but I just wanted to show you, you know, this is kind of where my mind is at, and this is what I have been working on right now. I have about 40 more rows left of the body, and then I need to add the arm bands and the neck band. The arms holes look humongous right now, and so I'm really hoping when I add the armbands on here that it'll cinch up to a reasonable opening width, but we'll see. This is a design that, if it works out, would not be coming out until next summer, would not be released till next summer. So I definitely have time to play around with it. I wanted to cast it on now so that I could showcase what this yarn looks like knit up, and I had the idea in my head and I just needed to get it out. So that is the first summer knit project plan that is in progress. And it's been really fun to work on. Okay, let's move on to the next pattern. And the next pattern that I really want to knit up is the mini mock neck tank. I actually started knitting this up back in March over spring break. I had this whole idea to knit up a whole top while I was on a cruise for a week. It turned out not not working out. Basically my gauge was off really far from the pattern. This is supposed to be the whole back panel, and it's a lot shorter than it really should be. So I knit this whole thing up on vacation, got home, measured it, realized my gauge was off, and I was like, well, all right, we're just going to use this whole back panel as our swatch, and we'll come back eventually and re-knit it. And that's okay, that's how it is, that's how it works sometimes. But I'm really interested in knitting this top because I have seen a lot of people knit this. It is a very popular summer knitting top. It is a pattern by Jessie Made Designs, and it is meant to be knit up in fingering weight. This pattern was published last summer, so June of 2023, and there's over 1,000 projects on this project page on Ravelry. The sizing goes from extra small to 5XL to fit a chest measurement of 28 inches to 60 inches. And the recommended gauge is 24 stitches and 28 rows. I think, let me see. Okay, yeah, my blocked gauge ended up being 27 stitches by 38 rows, and that was just way too much of a difference for me to like keep going with this. But one thing that I really like, I just really like the shape of this top in general. I feel like I have seen photos of this also on many different body types, body sizes, and it looks good on like in all of the photos that I have seen. And so I am excited and hopeful that when I finish knitting this, it will also look good on me. I feel like a lot of tank top designs are kind of hit or miss for how they fit depending on how I knit them. It's just a thing that exists, a feeling that exists. So yeah, I'm hopeful for this one. The yarn that I have already picked out to use for this project, you saw it in the huge swatch that I showed up, but this is Red Door Fiber Studio Classic Sock. So it's a 75/25 superwash merino nylon, 462 yards per 100 grams. And this was from her D&D collection. The name is called Magic Mouth. So it's a really fun pinky purple magenta color that I think is going to look really good on me. And this yarn is really soft. Whoops, I just dropped that cake and it rolled all the way over to where my dogs are laying. So yeah, I think this is going to be really nice, and I am excited for it when I'm excited to restart it. Okay, I think this is potentially like a classic tank top pattern that if it really works out the first time, I could see myself knitting multiple of these in different colors, potentially in different fibers, to have as part of my, spring summer knit wardrobe. Okay, let's talk about the next pattern, which is called the Ribbed to Your Measure. This is a pattern by Lacey Williamson. It is kind of similar in shape and style to the tank top design that I'm making. A high neck, a high back, kind of coming in at the shoulders, very similar to how the shaping of this is that I'm wearing right now. This design came out in November 2022. It is meant to be knit in fingering weight yarn. The gauge is 32 stitches and 32 rows, and it's in 2x2 ribbing. So something a little bit different than just the straight stockinette of the last two patterns that I have talked about. This is definitely going to have more stretch, more give. It's going to be a little bit more form-fitting, which I am very interested in. And the sizes available go from 28 inch to a 68 inch bust circumference. I have not fully decided on a yarn that I want to use for this. This pattern is on my Make 9, so I have been thinking about knitting this since, honestly, last year. And I thought I had a yarn picked out for it. Hold on. I did originally have yarn picked out for this, and when I was pulling colors to talk to you about today, I actually did pull out that same yarn that I had planned for this, but I also pulled out a couple other options because I have gotten in some more yarn this year that could be really nice for this pattern. So let me just showcase all three of these kind of options to you. We're definitely going in a cool color, either a purple or a blue. So this was the first yarn that I had thought about. This is from Hedgehog Fibers. It is their sock yarn is just what it's called, and it's a 90% merino wool, 10% nylon, 100 grams is 400 meters, and this is the colorway okay. I'm sorry, that was probably terrible. But yeah, I got this yarn in Ireland when I was there last October, and so I've kind of had this in my mind for a while. I've got 2 skeins of it, and I think this would be a really nice tank top. So this is option number 1. Option number 2 is this blue yarn from Dusty Yarn Co. that is called Daylight. This is on their classic fingering weight base, so it's a 100% superwash merino, 4-ply yarn, 437 yards per 100 grams. I got this in a box. It was by Factory Girl Design, and it was the spring box that she put together, so it had yarn, it had notions, it had other gifts and such. And I purchased this box and it came with 2 skeins, and I think this is just a really lovely summer color. I actually have another top that I had knit a few years ago in a color very similar to this, and I think this would make a really, really nice tank top. So definitely an option, if not for the rib to your measure, then for another tank at some point. And then my last thought is actually going variegated. So this yarn, we had a dog explosion there. Someone was at the front door, they went crazy. Anyways, they're out of the room now. Okay, anyways, this is Ba Yarns La Jolla. It's a 100% superwash merino wool, 400 yards is 115 grams. It's 2-ply, and this is actually from local yarn store day in 2023 last year, Apricot Yarns, and it's called Love Your Store 23. And so I've had this in my stash. I have 2 skeins of this. I've had this for a while, and I think this would be really nice knit up in a tank top. Again, if not for the rib to your measure, then I think this could also be a really nice mini mock neck tank as well. But I definitely have kind of my mind set on all 3 of these colors becoming one of these 2 tanks. Maybe not all of them. Well, it's very likely that not all of them will get knit up this year, this season, but hopefully in the future. So that is the mini mock neck and the rib to your measure. Like I said, the rib to your measure is on my Make 9. I'm really interested in this. Mini mock neck, I'm really interested in the shape as well. My tank top design, obviously, I'm really interested in. So those are kind of like the main 3 that I'm really, really focusing and planning on getting done. Now, after that, if I still have time to keep knitting up tank tops during this summer season, I have a few more ideas in mind. So the Iris top by Andrea Gahn literally just came out this weekend, and I have been eyeing this design since the tester call came out. It is kind of similar to the patterns that I have already talked about. It's got a high neck, high back. It is ribbed. It looks like it may be more than a 2x2 rib, maybe like a 3x3, 4x4, something like that. I don't know, I have not bought the pattern yet. And it is shown on the designer in a cropped style. I would likely knit this a little bit longer, but she knit this design with Explorer Knits yarn in her earthy sock. So it's a non-superwash merino wool, 436 yards per 100 grams. And Explorer Knits and Fibers had kits available for this in 4 different colors, and I actually purchased a kit yesterday in the color Gaudi, which is this bright purple that the design photo is in, and this is like slowly climbing also higher and higher on my list. I'm really interested in knitting this top. I think it is super cute. Like I said, it's fingering weight. The gauge is 30 stitches by 42 rows, and the size is available, let's see, it says A through J, which corresponds to fit bust measurements of 30 to 66 inches, and that's 75 to 165 centimeters. Sorry for not including the centimeters on the previous designs also. I should have been doing that. But yeah, it's just super cute, and the tester photos are also available on Ravelry, and I think I'm sorry, I just saw someone modeled the finished tank top on their dog. This is hilarious. I love that. But I was going to say that I think this top looks really good on all of the testers. So yeah, I am really excited to get my hands on it. The color yarn that I got is actually kind of similar. It's kind of a mix, I feel like, between these two purples. It's not variegated, but it's kind of like in this realm color story wise. So very excited about that. Okay, and then the last kind of idea that I have is I would like to knit a tank that's a little bit more of a V-neck, kind of a like triangle style top V-neck. Not super form-fitting, maybe with a little bit more positive ease. A couple patterns that like fit this style that I am inspired by. The first one is the George's top by Johanna Gurich. She is Colibri by Johanna on Instagram. I really like the simplicity of this top and the V-neck shaping of it. This particular top is not size inclusive. It only goes up to a 50-inch bust. So I don't think this is the pattern that I would use, and I would not want to do the ties, but I do like the shape of this overall, the V-neck and kind of like the straight sides. This is something similar to what I'm looking for. Another pattern that kind of fits this bill is the Home Camisole by Kadri. The thing with this one is it is knit in DK weight, and I would like to knit it in fingering weight. The Home Camisole by Kadri does go from a 3X small to a 5XL, which is meant to fit 27.5 inches up to 61.25 inches, and that corresponds to 70 centimeters to 156 centimeters. So that one is size inclusive. And I've got a few non 100% wool yarns that I am interested in using for this type of top, something that is less form-fitting, and so I kind of wanted to share these with you. They are all fingering weight, which is why I'm looking for something that is fingering weight. This may end up being another design idea if I can't find a design that specifically fits what I'm looking for in fingering weight. But like I said, this is kind of the last kind of option, the last thought in my summer knitting plan. So if I don't get to this right now, it's gonna be okay. But I wanted to share these 4 summer yarns. The first one that I am really excited to try out is the Sandnes Garn Tin Line. I have worked with the regular line, I would say, which is a heavy DK / worsted weight yarn. This tin line is the fingering weight version. It is the same fiber makeup, so it is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, 14% linen, but in that fingering weight. The Farnham tee that I knit earlier this year was knit in the worsted weight line, and I have a tank top the Thea top that I knit, I think 2 years ago now, in the regular worsted weight line, and I really like the yarn, but it's thick and it's not super heavy, but I just have a hard time wearing the thicker, like more dense yarn when it's really hot out. So I'm really excited and interested to try out knitting up and wearing the fingering weight version of this. Another summer yarn, I have had this in my stash for years and have not cast it on yet. This is the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. The color that I have is Putty, and it's just a cream 100% silk. I'm very excited to try this yarn out, and I think this would be really nice in one of those designs. And then I've got two couple skein quantities of merino silk. So both of these are 50-50 superwash merino and silk. This one is from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. It's called Object of All My Desires. This was from her Bridgerton collection on her Regency Romance base. So it's 100 grams, 400 meters, 50-50 superwash merino silk. I love this color. It's super bright. It's super fun. And then the other one that I have is from Sorella Yarn. Again, 50-50 superwash merino silk, 438 yards per 100 grams. And this color is the Queen. This was from the Netflix collection, I think. Netflix collection. Yeah, it's like a red berry color. They both look good. I like both of them. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts. I think one of these 50-50 silk yarns would also be really nice knit up in my tank top design. So I'm using the like Cashmerino silk yarn right now in this first sample, but when I knit up a second sample, I think a merino silk would also be really nice fingering weight, just to see how the design works in a merino silk. I've used a lot of DK merino silks in the past. Both of my Verdunculus sweaters are in that, and wearing it and knitting it up, it has very similar properties to like a 100% merino wool yarn or like a merino nylon blend. And so if you're looking for potentially something form-fitting, something with negative ease, I feel like a merino silk would work pretty well for that. It is going to have a little bit more stretch because of that silk content, but it's not going to be as... It's not going to need to be like as flowy as something that's like a cotton linen blend or potentially a 100% silk blend. So yeah, okay, those are the patterns. A couple other things that are just on my radar that are like not really summer knitting, but that I'm like dying to cast on. I got my yarn order in for the book club cardigan. This cardigan by Sari Nordland basically came out and took over my entire brain, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. So I needed to order yarn, and it finally arrived. I have been, well, not finally, it basically arrived like less than a week after I ordered it. I think the real win here is that I just haven't cast it on yet. But I was really looking for something in this like lavendery purple color, dusty purple color. So I got the Barocco Lanas Light. It's a 100% wool yarn. A special blend of South American wools. It's 383 yards per 100 grams. This is a sport weight yarn. And I got the Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the color Dusty Violet. And I think these two together are just going to be so nice, and so I think they're just going to look really good. It's going to come out probably closer to this dark color. The dark mohair I think is going to really shine, but I'm really excited about this. So there's a potential of me casting that on this summer. And then I also have yarn on the way for another design collaboration. So I'm working on a drop shoulder open gauge sweater that if everything goes to plan, we'll be releasing this fall, and so once I get that yarn in my hands, I am going to be casting that on as well. So lots of fun stuff, lots of fun plans, and I don't know, I'm really looking forward to this like knitting season this summer. I think it's just gonna be really fun and something different than what I have been working on, you know, this winter and this spring, and even something different than I'm remembering like my summer knitting last year. So I hope some of these patterns were potentially inspiring to you as well. And I want to talk now about my little summer knitting bucket list that I put together. Every year I see people online, especially on Pinterest and also on TikTok, putting together like their summer bucket lists, all these things that they want to do during summer. And I remember putting together bucket lists with my friends when I was in high school. You know, we didn't have school, we could, especially when we were like juniors and seniors and we had cars, we could like drive places and go hang out all day, and it was like a list of things that we wanted to do to have fun all summer. And so I wanted to put something together similar to that was knitting focused. So it's my summer knitting bucket list, and I definitely took, you know, some vacation plans that we already have planned out and took those into account when making this list. So if you're interested in making your own list, hopefully some of these examples can help inspire you for your own list. Think about the potential vacations that you may have planned and how you're going to want to incorporate knitting being on those trips. And yeah, here's my summer knitting bucket list. Okay, number 1, knit a tank top. We just talked through so many different designs that I want to knit, and I'm literally halfway done with one. So this was an easy one to add to the list that I know will get complete. That's the other thing too, is I added a lot of stuff to this list that I know I will complete so that I could feel accomplished in getting this list done. And if I don't complete everything on this list, it's fine. This is just for fun. Even if I didn't complete anything on this list, like, it's fine. It's just for fun. So anyways, knit a tank top. Wear the tank top out somewhere fun. Again, pulling in that let's wear our knits more often. I want to knit at the beach. I want to knit in a pool / hot tub. Have you seen all of those reels on Instagram where people have like a Tupperware container and their yarn and their project in it, and then they're like knitting while they're in the pool? I think Ocean Knits was the first one that I saw doing this. Maybe, I don't know, I'll see if I can put the video up here. But I thought it was super funny and super cute, and this is something that I've been wanting to do since I saw that video, and I haven't done it yet. And I said in a pool / hot tub because we have a hot tub in our backyard, so that's probably like the easiest place for me to like try to test this out without like being at our community pool where there's a bunch of kids splashing and people would look at me really weird. Okay, Tour de Fleece. I've obviously, well, you may not know this actually, but I have started spinning this year. I've got my Shacked Ladybug spinning wheel right next to me here, and Tour de Fleece is coming up actually at the end of this week. I think it starts, maybe the beginning of next week. I don't really know. I don't really know all the details of Tour de Fleece, but I'm going to be on a little team with Camry from Golden Hour Knitwear and Rachel from Rachel is Knitting, and we're just gonna like chat about our spinning. I don't know, but it's going to be fun and I'm excited to participate. Okay, knit outside during the sunset. This will be nice and relaxing. A knit night with friends, whether it's a virtual knit night with friends or an in-person knit night with friends. I would love to be part of one this summer. Knit during a road trip, and this kind of goes with the next one, knit in Las Vegas. We have a road trip out to Las Vegas to visit my parents planned for this summer, so, you know, easy, check. Knit at the lake. We also have another vacation that we do every summer up to a lake in Northern California, so definitely going to be knitting at the lake. I want to make a summer knitting slash spinning playlist that I can listen to while I'm knitting, and more specifically while I'm spinning. I like to listen to music while I'm spinning. I have not found it easy to like watch TV yet while I'm spinning because I'm so focused on like what I'm doing. So that's that. And then the last thing that I have on the list is a summer weekend vlog. So hopefully at some point this summer I can film a vlog. And that's it. That's my summer knitting bucket list. A lot of fun knitting in different places and just relaxing and being outside, going on road trips, vacation, spinning, you know, all the fun things. So again, I hope this has inspired you to maybe put together your own summer knitting bucket list for yourself. Alright, that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this summer knitting plans video. I feel like I've said this now 4 times, but I hope you got some inspiration from it, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. You can also go follow me on Instagram over at Knit California, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!
Thank you.